Hi, I'm Wade Hanson. I've been selling luxury real estate in Minnesota and Wisconsin for over 23 years. My entire career has been spent protecting my clients from misinformation and unethical practices by those not looking out for their best interests. This podcast will give you the raw truth about everything real estate so you can make solid, informed decisions about the biggest investment of your lifetime. This is the Raw Real Estate Podcast.
Wade, you've got a reputation of cutting through the BS.
Mm-hmm.
Has that always been you? Where did that come from? Were you like that as a kid?
That's a great question. Yeah, I think I was. I think I was always just a straight shooter. I always wasn't afraid to speak my mind, and I think that's just now translated into a successful real estate career and giving, I think what my clients expect of me. Mm-hmm. And I think when the success I've had with the upper bracket in the luxury market is these folks look to the experts within their field for good, honest advice. They don't always take it, mm-hmm. but they're always looking for the best in the business to give them the advice that's going to make them successful. And for me, I'm not afraid to give it to them, whether you're selling a $200,000 townhome or a $2 million lake home. I'm not afraid to just tell you exactly what I think of your property, what I think a buyer's going to think of your property, and how we best market that at the right price to maximize your investment.
Yeah. Well, it's needed, and your mom and dad must have got some interesting notes back from the teacher. Were you that honest with your teachers because you're a Minnesota boy growing up, right?
I am Minnesota boy. I actually graduated Woodbury High School, so we moved here in I think about 6th grade into Minnesota, but I'm from the Midwest, and yeah, they may or may not have gotten a few notes from the principal or the teacher about my personality, let's say. Yeah.
What about, were you an entrepreneurial kid growing up? Did you?
So I had my first job at the age of 13. I was a dock boy at a resort up in northern Minnesota, and I cleaned fish, gas boats, and so I always liked to work. I'd work for tips, so I knew the harder I worked and the better service I provided, the more tip I would get at the end of the week. So for me, I enjoyed the work, and I enjoyed the service industry, and I enjoyed being around people, and I think that is kind of what I do today.
Yeah, so you got your hands dirty.
Got my hands dirty.
Smelling like work.
Not afraid to do that. Yeah. No, not afraid to do that.
Nice. So then you went to college, and what happened there?
I walked out. It's one of those, everybody has that kind of turning point in their life, and it's one of those days I'll never forget. It was Greek mythology, which was my lit credit, and I sat there looking at the teacher that day. I think it was January in Minnesota, and it was cold out, and I'm looking outside, I'm looking at her, and I'm thinking, how is any of this information ever going to make me a living? Right. And left my books on the table, walked out, and never looked back. We got my real estate license a month later, and I was off and running. So you went right into real estate? Right into real estate. I've been doing real estate, this is year 23. I think I was licensed when I was 22.
So how did that feel? Were you scared, nervous? Were you energetic? Couldn't wait to get to it? What was that like? Take me back to that point of your life.
Yeah. When we're young, we're all kind of fearless, right? Yeah. I think I didn't have as much responsibility. I didn't have kids. I wasn't married. So I wasn't scared. I think I was more excited about the opportunity. I knew that this was an industry that the harder you work, the more money you're going to make, the more successful you're going to be. And I liked that about real estate.
Well, it goes back to your service industry jobs when you were 13.
Same.
The harder you work, the more money you would get. Mm-hmm. And you took that ethic, and now through 20 years of real estate, but then you hit a fork in the road, really. You almost quit last year. Is that true?
Mentally, yeah. I was exhausted. I just got to a point where I was just disgusted with our industry. I was just exhausted with just all of the bullshit that went on in real estate. And, when the market is as strong as it is right now, the real estate market, anybody and everybody's getting a real estate license. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, a lot of people have lost jobs. So real estate is a easy fallback career for those people. Mm-hmm. And when you have that many people fighting for fewer transactions, unfortunately things happen, and things I didn't like were happening on a consistent basis, and even happening with some of the people that I respected in this industry. And I just got to a point where do I really want to be associated with this? Is this something that just doesn't meet my values, right? So I really recently went to a real estate conference and got a little bit re-energized and just realized that I had a voice. I'm one of those agents that I think I've gotten so busy in the day-to-day real estate business that I haven't shared that voice. And moving forward, I just want an opportunity to provide that transparency to the consumer, tell them exactly what's going on out there so they know a little bit more what happens behind the curtain of real estate. And
you're kind of like a whistleblower now in real estate.
That, for lack of a better term, maybe.
Yeah, and knowing you like I do, you're not going to hold back. I mean, you may piss off some real estate agents.
I might. Yeah, I'm not in this business to make friends. I mean, I think anybody will tell you that. That's not my job. Look, you don't have to like me, but you have to like the services I provide. And every single time, I'm going to fight for every dollar I can for you, whether that's negotiating down for a buyer or up for a seller. And I'm not going to put up with bullshit. I mean, look. I'll give you an example. I was just recently hired, a former client of mine, his father passed away and his mother had a home to sell. And he's an executive at a very large Fortune 500 company here in the Twin Cities. And he basically just called me and said, Wade, I know you're my guy. I know you're not going to give me, you're not going to feed me a line of crap. I know you're going to do for my mom what you would do for your mom. Go get it done. And he followed my direction, did exactly what I recommended, sold his home. We listed it at $750, sold it for $800,000 in 24 hours. And, he was tickled pink and happy. And, but that's just the type of person I am. My former clients, I think, would feel comfortable picking up the phone and calling me and having that same conversation. If I know that if I follow your advice, I follow your direction, you're going to do what's best for me being the client.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Now you're stepping into this arena. You're getting a bigger voice, amplifying your voice. What do you hope consumers walk away with when they listen to your podcast?
I hope the consumer walks away with information. Mm-hmm. I hope they walk away with a better understanding of what we do as real estate agents. We're not a $1 million listing LA or $1 million listing New York on Bravo TV. We don't just throw lavish open houses and make millions of dollars. We're not afraid to get our hands dirty. Right. So I think it's important that consumer understands how hard we work, what we do, and what that 5% of the really good realtors in this business, what they look like.
Mm-hmm. And who do you plan on bringing in with you? Who do you plan on letting you join the mic this week?
Well, the list is kind of growing as we sit here. I'm looking to bring on anybody from John Colopy, the owner of our company, to my team members, to educating people on iBuyer programs, on the mortgage industry. Down the road, I hope to bring on some former contestants that were on The Apprentice with me back in 2010. Some of them have gone on. I know at least one has gone on to start an HGTV show, which is a different side of real estate. So I hopefully people within all aspects of the real estate industry, they can shed some light on their specific knowledge and expertise in that area. So.
Yeah, it's interesting. It'd be fair to call you a private guy. Right? Very private.
Beyond private. My motto has always been work hard in silence and let success be your noise. Right. That's how I've always lived my life. This is the last thing I thought I would ever do.
And it's very interesting at the same time. What makes you an interesting person is that you've also been on The Apprentice, with Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. That's not like you're going down to Fox 9 here and being on this. I mean, that's a national stage. And then, and then you're jumping on the stage with the podcast. So it's like you like to push yourself a little bit.
I do. And I think, I had this conversation with my team the other day. I just think I reached a plateau in just mentally in my career where I needed to challenge myself to do something else. And, this is an opportunity, I think, to just share my expertise, my knowledge, my almost 25 years of experience with the consumer, and not just with the, 90 to 100 people that I do a transaction with every year. So,
Well, I think you have a vital message to share, vital voice, and let's get to work.
Looking forward to it. Thank you for listening to the Raw Real Estate Podcast. If you have any feedback for this episode or want to suggest a future topic or even possible guests, head to wadehanson.com. There you can get links to my Facebook and LinkedIn pages. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel to see the video version of this podcast too. Again, thank you for listening to the Raw Real Estate Podcast. We'll talk soon.